if we're doing psyker stuff. Ballistic skill could be useful for the occasional sniper shots. With non-burst ranged area attacks. We are going to get there eventually. Tech use, Medicaid, logic, and lore is good. Let's just have a quick look here. Okay, intelligence for analyze enemies. Perception to armor reduction from exposed weakness. Psyker damage is caused by willpower bonus. Yeah, okay, willpower for damage. Armor pen based on psi rating. Okay, willpower and armor pen. We need to do a double level on our girl here. What did we do last time? She has stacked will and perception. Her damage feature is also based on willpower. Fellowship and fellowship. So willpower and fellowship for our attacks here. What did we pick? This is such a good passive ability, I feel. Not only do they get 5 less hit, they also get 5 less dodge. So this stacks the odds in both directions in our favor. I think we picked something that added extra damage from warp sources. Here. Enemies damaged by the navigator suffer 10% additional damage from any warp source. I think that's what we did. Oh, and then we have another one. What's being recommended? Increase range of voice of command. I don't know if we want that yet. Like, we haven't used it yet, so we don't know if that's a hindrance to us or not with our playstyle. This is based on officer's resolve. Okay, I feel like we probably want to stack resolve. We don't have any effect of a navigator power, so that we can't make use of that yet. %10 armor for allies that are buffed. Reduced by veil degradation, though. Which I reckon we're gonna have a fair amount of. Yeah, what is resolve used for? I mean, there's one ability we have, right? Oh, let me look at my ability so I can make a decision. Oh, I can do it here. Half of the bonus granted by voice of command remains until end of combat. Maybe that's good, because then we can mash that around our guys. I think we do that. And then more willpower? More willpower. Okay. Next up is Argenta. She's just a straight up gunner. And she has been missing quite a bit, especially with running gun, so let's take some more ballistic skill. What's being recommended? A soldier gives a sign that they're about to open fire. The soldier and their allies will automatically dodge the soldier's next attack. Okay, so this means that we can spend 1 AP and burst fire into a crowd of our own guys, and they will dodge one of the shots each, but the second burst might hit. Maybe that's not great. Dashes in the selected direction, spending all their movement points, does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Dash through allies and enemies, but not through objects. Okay. Not sure I like that. Rapid fire, now you're speaking my language. The soldier's next ranged burst attack will have his base rate of fire doubled, but deal 25% less damage. So, does that mean it has twice the number of shots? Okay. So this means we double the number of shots, but they each do 25% less damage. We're still gaining 25% more damage from this ability. I like it. It's on the short list. That's our pick. Idira. So, what are we actually doing here? Kind of buffing for damage. Okay. Increase the range. Stabilizing factor. Maybe. So these are not abilities, right? These are talents. They're not attacks. First dodge attempt of every enemy in the combat suffers minus 14% penalty. This could be good. It could mean that we could have a higher reliability on getting rid of trash mobs. But then again, I don't think that's gonna be of high value to us because we have a navigator and 2 psychers. Aftershock means half as much mental damage at the end of their next turn. So this is a delayed 50% damage increase, which is pretty good. Debuffing their checks could be good if we start to find that we are struggling with enemies succeeding at checks. Ooh. Enemies that have failed a willpower resistance test against any of the psychic powers will suffer an additional 6 direct damage every time they suffer mental damage until end of combat. Hold on. Is our shout... is our shout a mental thing? It doesn't tell me. Psychic? I wish they would tell us the damage types. Maybe. I didn't do any seducing in the Planet Crafter that you know of. When we kill an enemy with a psychic power, the overkill is dealt to the closest enemy target. That's also good. I did say something about big rods, goddammit. I thought we agreed not to talk about that. Weapon skill and ballistic skill bonus from buffing. We're doing buffing with her anyway. So let's just take this. And int. Ablard. You're a tank. Let's see what you got. Okay, this is all we have to choose from. A short list. Thank goodness. We already have Endure. Next melee attack gains 20% armor pen plus 8 damage and ignores 12% parry. Every enemy who survives an attack enhanced by this ability will attack the warrior in return, including creatures with ranged weapons. Oh, so every enemy on the map will just shoot at him? That is reckless. It's strong, but it's also reckless. The warrior marks a target gaining 22 armor and plus 6 damage from melee attacks against that target. If the target attacks the warrior during this round, the warrior gains 1 AP. Oh, this seems like excellent boss killing, boss tanking action. I like that. We gain the slash ability with 1 charges for this round. Dash through an enemy to the cell of the enemy opposite side. Make a melee attack with 50% less damage. I mean, it could be useful for positioning, but I feel like we have other tools for solving that. The next melee attack pushes the enemy away. The distance of the push is equal to 3 cells. Now, this could be useful if we could attack after the push. So we could push, then charge, then attack. But I don't think we can make that happen right now. A taunt to make them a tank. Okay, that's very interesting. Let's add that to our short list for future, but we'll take Sworn Enemy right now. And maybe Carouse. Athletics. I think we need someone who can succeed at athletics checks for us, so it has to be here, I think. Okay. Whew, finally. Level ups in these games are always a little bit of take a little bit of doing. Especially if you're not already super familiar with the build. Not again. Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seemed to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Verserian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. Master Verserian, who was that again? I love the turning throne. The everyday sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice, the loudest of all. Is this not the conduct of an officer? These are the antics of highborn brat and an Alaric. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. Avrilla Vent, the young woman standing before Abelard, strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her superior's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Okay, what the heck's going on? Very well, Lieutenant. You may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb her. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a high-ranking officer will be logged on your personal file without delay. Uh-oh. This will come up in your performance evaluations. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avrilla, Vent, requesting permission to speak. Vent falls silent, then answer Ashley, on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. Oh, God. You may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. Having two officers bickering in full view of the bridge is unacceptable. I'm very sorry, Lord Captain. I thought the drastic times called for drastic measures. Oh, God. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. But I'm convinced that this step is unwarranted and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Wendt is almost trembling with tension as she delivers her speech, her face extremely pale. Abelard, in no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. He glances at Sauerbach, who is standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression. I have Sauerbach here. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Verserian and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. Wendt reels off on the last words as though she knows them by heart. She has clearly been preparing to say them for a while. When she's finished, she casts an anxious glance at Abelard, then at you. An insurrection on my ship, and nobody has informed me? I would not deem it a problem worthy of the rogue trader's attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we were still battling rumors that the hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Pfft. Needless to say, the rumor was baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the world of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the rogue trader addresses the malcontents directly, she will quell the unrest. I dread to think the problem you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up the brawls in the mess room. Have you already given the means? I have already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. If I may, your ladyship, sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. Oh gosh, how did all of this start? The situation could boil down over at any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed in a drunken brawl. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers at the head. I feel like they're... Cleanse and purge? Okay. Where does Seneschal Verserian come into all of this? I shall explain, Abelard intones grimly. I beg you to hurry. Time is running out. I will not hurry, since my competence is under scrutiny. I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of that system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to assure that. I have always handled internal problems myself. So, of course, when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. As long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valencius will find refuge on her ship. You are far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Verserian. Oh, that's Verserian? Why am I so bad with names? Oh, okay. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven the people to the brink, Wendt says bitterly. Now there's a strike on the lower decks, in Depot 4 to be precise. 3 worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection. But when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and to crush the strike with maximum force. Okay. What's the depot for? On the poorer sectors and lower decks, it's home for the clans of general laborers. They are not as valuable to ship as the families who have served as special assistants for generations. They're an easily replaceable resource. Okay, I like how you think. Poor in trouble, but at worst it means drunken fights and illegal rotgut brewing. I mean, if they share some of that rot... No? Okay, fine. What do you have to say to this all, Abelard? I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interest of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for myself, I have no objections. Master at Arms, the ship enforcers report to you, and yet you seem hesitant to provide your own perspective. Lord Captain, unlike Lieutenant Vent, I respect the chain of command and realize that it's not within my right to challenge my superiors. I like this guy. Sourback bows her head in Abelard's direction, however, a moment later, a serpentine smile appears on her lips. That being said, while I entirely share Master Verserian's opinion on what fate Depot 4 deserves, I must note that his insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Mr. Sourback, I see you have decided to follow the Lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. Sourback, explain yourself. The ship's regulations state that Master at Arms is responsible for resolving all matters related to the ship's enforcers, and yet it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcers and officers whom he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. Oh, I see. But is that a problem? Master at Arms. That's Sourback is the Master of Arms. Ah, so he is offering tutelage and offering tutelage to some of the people under Sourback. And she's not happy about it. I see. I cannot deny Master Verserian's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record of fostering students who have indeed achieved much and demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the head of their immediate superior encourages disregard for hierarchy among your ladyship's servants. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master of Arms that they happen to disagree with. Tomorrow, they will go to the Lord Captain to object to the Seneschal's order. I notice a pattern in these actions. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. But also, his tutelage is valuable. Alright, Abelard, do you wish to respond? Miss Sourback, can you recall an occasion where I would encourage an officer to disobey their superior? Or one where I would overrule their order? Or show favoritism to those who merited none? None, Seneschal, for there have been no such cases in the entire time I have served aboard this ship. If anyone were to claim otherwise, I would have them pay for insulting your honor with blood. Your conduct in this regard has always been spotless. Nevertheless, given your eminent position, a simple show of attention on your part is enough to erode the propriety of junior officers, inflating their sense of self-importance, and undermine discipline. Okay. I see. Evidently, my officers are anything but a shining example of unity and adherence today. I have only myself to blame today, I suppose.